we've all seen the image of the turtle with a straw stuck up its nose or the bird drifting in trash amongst the ocean blue. Only one species is to blame for this, and it's humans. Some information from the article, A Plastic Problem, taking a look at the plastic pollution in our oceans, written by Ralph G. Stahl, states, our world consists of over 70% oceans and waters. Along with that, 8 million metric tons of trash being poured into our ocean every single year. Ocean pollution has been around for centuries and as long as we've been around. Politics have brought up ocean pollution, so it is credible, along with other topics like animal endangerment and climate change. Universities and companies have also brought up ocean pollution and tried to figure out ways to avoid or reduce ocean pollution. It is also credible because every human in this room has contributed to ocean pollution in some way, shape, or form and harming our animals. In my informative speech on human impacts of the ocean and biomarine life, I will review how much plastic is dumped into the ocean, the endangerment animals face of plastic, the harm animals endure from plastic fishing gear, the effects plastic has on humans, and the changes some species have to make in order to survive just because of humans. Plastic has become a staple in all of our lives. We use it for everything like toothbrushes, shopping bags, water bottles, ponytails, you name it. The list goes on and on. A quote, Americans generated more than 4 pounds of MSW in 2017, of which approximately 35 was recycled, 13% was burned to generate electricity, and 52% was landfilled. Stahl. This means, on average, every single American generates almost 4 pounds of trash, with over half of it ending up in the landfill. That's roughly 2 pounds a day, 14 pounds a week, or 728 pounds of trash ending up in our landfills and eventually our oceans from every single American every single year. Roughly 300 million tons of plastic is produced every year, and this number is not expected to decline anytime soon. The article, Solving a Plastic Problem from Cradle to Grave to Reincarnation, written by Christopher J. Rhodes, quotes, plastic packaging accounts for 36% of all plastic made, but amounts to 47% of all plastic waste. 90% of all plastic items are used once and then discarded, which corresponds to around 50% of the total mass of plastics manufactured. Rhodes. The article Plastic Surf mentions, we've been dumping plastic by the millions of tons for hundreds and hundreds of years. Over time, we've accumulated enormous amounts of trash, ending up with killing our animals. We use plastic and then discard it without thinking twice, but this plastic doesn't just disappear, it ends up in our oceans and harms our animals. Plastic never fully breaks down, but it photodegrades, which is the process of the sun weakening the plastic. The sun breaks the plastic into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics on the right. The bad news is microplastics kill zooplankton, and zooplankton is the base or the bottom of the marine food web. When there's no food at the bottom of the food web, all the animals will eventually die out, from your smallest of fish to your medium-sized sharks to your largest of whales. Ackerman. A quote, moreover, plastic debris floating in the ocean acts as a magnet and sponge for toxic substances such as DDT, dioxins, and PCBs, absorbing 100 to 1 million times of the surrounding water. Life forms eating pollutant-loaded microplastics may therefore be exposing themselves and those who feed on them to concentrated poisons. Ackerman. The toxins that these animals ingest harm them and eventually kill them. The other bad thing about microplastics is they aren't just floating in our ocean, but they're found in our ocean columns, ice sheets, glaciers, and ocean soil. Rhodes. Plastic doesn't always affect animals directly, but it affects them indirectly when their food supply is cut off directly or the food they are consuming is filled with toxins. Next, I'm going to inform you of the harm that the animals endure from plastic fishing gear. In the article, Congress Tackles Ocean Plastic Pollution, written by David E. Blackstein, it states, over the past 20 years, millions of seabirds have drowned in fishing nets. The National Marine Fisheries Services reports that 20,000 to 40,000 northern fur seals die from entanglement annually, causing an estimated 15% mortality rate for these young animals among these species. The total annual kill for marine mammals may approach 100,000 from plastic nets. The article also talks about what a ghost net is. A ghost net is a net that is lost or discarded by fishermen in the sea. As the net expands and sinks deeper into the ocean, it catches animals, entangling them and drowning them in the process. Blackstein. According to the article Towards Plastic-Free Oceans, written by Mark J. Palmer, states, every year, an estimated 300,000 dolphins, porpoises, and small whales are killed by the entanglement of plastic fishing gear alone. Others ingest plastic trash which fills their stomachs. Palmer. Hundreds and thousands of animals are being killed just by plastic fishing gear alone. This number continues to rise with the growth of plastic fishing gear over woven or hemp nets because it's easier to produce, quicker to produce, and cheaper to make. Not only does plastic fishing gear affect our animals, but it also can affect us as humans. An intoxicated food web starts with plankton, works its way up through smaller fish and larger fish, and eventually to humans or the larger marine predators that prey on them. The plastic works through all of these organisms, but it cannot be digested. Ackerman. A quote, they, microplastics, have been detected in the bodies of animals, including humans, and is being passed along the hierarchy of food chains up by the top marine predators. Rhodes. If the fish or seafood that we eat consumes plastic or toxins, we will also be at risk for any of the complications that come along with consuming these. Now I'm going to inform you of the shrinking and adapting that animals have to make in order to survive. A quote from the article, Shrunken Snails Offer a Glimpse for the Future, written by Colin Barras, says, as ocean acidification begins to bite, some marine mammals might adapt by shrinking. This phenomenon is known as the Lilliput effect. Ocean acidification is a change in the ocean's levels, and it's usually in a result of too much or too little carbon dioxide. Ocean pH levels change naturally, but the use of fossil fuels and other things that have helped speed up the CO2 emissions have caused animals to change quicker. Through this process, species die out, like shellfish, coral, and certain fish. A quote from the same article by Hall Spencer states, the smaller organisms can survive high CO2 concentrations because they don't need as much oxygen to survive. Quoted in Barras. Species try to make the adaptations to become smaller, but the unnatural effect that CO2 has on these animals makes it hard for them to change and keep up with our pace. Snails are just one of very many species that have to make different adaptations to survive. Throughout my speech, I informed this audience of many things relating to pollution, such as how much plastic is dumped into the ocean, the harm animals face with plastic, the danger of fishing gear, the negative effects that humans have with plastic, and the adaptations species have to make in order to survive. After listening to my speech, you guys will now know more facts about plastic use, specifically how it impacts our oceans and creatures that live within. Next time you see a picture of a marine mammal encased in plastic, you will know why and how that came to be. Here's my works cited, and thank you.